Next we will be studying how do acids react with metals. We already studied a part of this in chapter 1 where, if you remember, we had taken dilute sulfuric acid in a test tube and we added zinc granules to it. We observed that there was an effervescence produced, meaning there was a gas produced and we could see bubbles. The effervescence meaning like lot of bubbles coming out. So in layman terms, that is. So here we are going to do the similar experiment but more in detail. So we are taking a test tube filled with some amount of dilute sulfuric acid. To that we have added zinc granules. You can see there is a cork over here to tightly close it. We don't want the gas to escape. Through this we have a delivery tube meaning because it is delivering the gas from here to here. So we are taking this delivery tube, there is a gas coming out. Because zinc is reacting with the dilute sulfuric acid, this gas is passed out. Why? We want to test the gas. We already know two tests from chapter 1. If it is hydrogen, how do you test it? Burn it. If it pops with the pop sound, then it is hydrogen gas. If you want to know whether it's carbon dioxide, what do? We pass the gas through calcium hydroxide solution and the solution turns milky. If you do not know this, please go back to chapter 1 and have a recap. Anyway, so here moving back, the gas coming over here is passed through the delivery tube through a soap solution. Why through a soap solution? Because if I don't use a solution and the gas is directly coming out, hydrogen gas is colorless. Will you be able to see the gas coming out? No. To exactly know where the gas is coming out, if I use a soap solution, I will be able to see the bubble. Yes, you'll know that when you'll have all played with that with the soap toy where you dip it and you blow and there's a bubble coming out through the soap solution. Yes, very similar to that. So we pass the gas here, the bubbles are now seen, we go and we light the candle over there just exactly near the bubbles. So there you will see that it burns with a pop sound. So confirmed hydrogen gas is coming out. So zinc reacts with sulfuric acid, we know for sure that the hydrogen gas is coming out. What is left? Zinc is left, sulfate is left. They form zinc sulfate solution over here. So now we will see what happens with the other metals and other acids, what happens with their combinations. I hope this experiment is clear. The observation of this experiment is when a metal reacts with an acid, there is hydrogen gas produced, and how do we test it? We test it by doing the pop sound experiment. Let us now see how few other metals and acids react. Zinc reacts with dilute HCl, first the hydrogen gas comes out, we all know that hydrogen gas is evolved, and then you have zinc chloride here. Similarly, hydrogen gas comes out here, aluminium reacts with HCl to give aluminium chloride along with it. So you have aluminium chloride, magnesium with hydrogen chloride, hydrogen gas comes out, which is the salt solution formed, magnesium and chlorine, magnesium chloride. Here you have H2 coming out, Mg plus H2SO4, MgSO4. Now you all might be wondering, okay, we took hydrochloric acid, we took sulfuric acid, why didn't we take nitric acid? So this is an exception here for metals reacting with acids. If I take, let's say, zinc with nitric acid, actually speaking, hydrogen gas is evolved, hydrogen gas comes out, but this nitric acid itself is a strong oxidizing agent. We learnt oxidizing agent in chapter 1 under redox reactions. So what does a strong oxidizing agent do? It oxidizes your substance, your element. Here the element is hydrogen. It oxidizes hydrogen. H2 reacts to become H2O. It's getting oxidized to H2O immediately. Why? Because nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. So you will not observe H2 gas coming out alone. Instead, you will find water formed. So when zinc reacts with nitric acid, hydrogen gas is evolved, but because nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent, the hydrogen is oxidized to water immediately. So zinc reacts with nitric acid to give us zinc nitrate, nitrogen dioxide along with water. So giving a general statement for what we just learned about how acids react with metals, you can write down metal plus acid, hydrogen gas is evolved. So it gives hydrogen gas along with a salt. This is a general statement for what we just learned. We'll now understand how do bases react with metals. Zinc reacts with sodium hydroxide. So this is an experiment, activity 2.4. Take sodium hydroxide solution, add a few zinc granules to it. There also you will observe that hydrogen gas is evolved. Along with that, which salt is formed? Sodium zincate. That's the formula for sodium zincate. Similarly, aluminium reacts with sodium hydroxide solution to give us sodium aluminate along with hydrogen gas. Two things to understand here. Does this happen with all kind of salts? No. All kind of metals? No. So there's a point to be noted here. All metals do not react with bases to give out hydrogen gas. These are the only two reactions that you study about. You don't study about the other reactions. According to our knowledge that we have until now, all metals do not react with bases to give out hydrogen gas. So you cannot generalize this, like how we generalized it for acids, saying metal plus acid gives salt plus hydrogen gas. You cannot generalize the statement here. So you can put a note, all metals do not react the same way with bases. The next point that some of you all might have a doubt looking at these two reactions is, here also I took sodium hydroxide solution, here also I took sodium hydroxide solution, but I added a H2O here, I did not add the H2O there. It is not necessary to do so. Without this also you can do it, but balancing will be very tough. There are few reactions in chemistry. For simplicity's sakes and balancing, we put it. So the water also has a very important role to play here with the sodium hydroxide solution. So the water and sodium hydroxide itself gives us the sodium hydroxide solution. So it's just for the simplicity's sakes of balancing. Now looking at this, you can take a minute to balance the reaction. Pause the video, try to balance the reaction. I'll put up the answer. On balancing, you all should get this answer. Balancing was clearly explained in chapter 1, so you can go back and have a recap if you have some difficulty. It is not that difficult to balance these two reactions. So please verify if you get the same answer. Next we study how metal carbonates or metal hydrogen carbonates react with acids. Why are we studying only with respect to acids? Why are we not studying with respect to base? You will study a few other reactions with respect to base, but particularly why with acid over here is, metal carbonates or metal hydrogen carbonates are slightly basic in nature. If they are basic in nature, who will they tend to react with? Acid, which is why we are studying metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate with acid. So what we do here is, we have our next experiment, activity 2.5. So in this experiment what we do is, we take sodium carbonate salt crystals, we take sodium carbonate salt, or take the compound sodium carbonate, we put it in dilute hydrochloric acid. There is a gas evolved. This gas evolved. If there is carbonate, which gas is expected to come out? The gas over here is CO3. The carbonate here is CO3. So the gas coming out will be obviously expected to be CO2. We have done this in chapter 1 as well. So therefore there is CO2 definitely coming out. Along with that there is water. Acid and base, this is slightly basic. Carbonates and hydrogen carbonates are slightly basic. So base will react with acid to give salt and water, which is why you have the salt and water. So you can conclude, if metal carbonates or metal hydrogen carbonates react with an acid, we get the products as salt, water and carbon dioxide gas. How do we test the carbon dioxide gas? We'll have a small recap. Before with that, let's finish it over here as to how sodium carbonate reacts with an acid. So we have taken sodium carbonate, Na2CO3. How? Carbonate is CO3 2 minus, sodium is Na plus 1, exchange 1 and 2. So sodium carbonate reacts with HCl to give us what? Carbon dioxide is for sure, water is for sure. What is the other product that we can expect out of this? Sodium and chlorine. The salt will be sodium chloride, right? Yeah. So now balancing this, as you can see, sodium here is 2, so this will be 2, Cl becomes 2, so this will become 2, 2H, 2H, O is balanced, C is also balanced. What if it was sodium hydrogen carbonate. Hydrogen carbonate HCO3 minus 1, this is plus 1 goes to this, minus 1 comes to this, balanced. So this reacts with dilute HCl to give us same products, NaCl plus CO2 plus H2O. Now in detail, how do we test for CO2 gas? Pass the gas through calcium hydroxide solution. Calcium hydroxide, you are passing CO2. You will find that the solution turns milky. Why? Due to the formation of calcium carbonate. This is a white precipitate. Along with this water. Now, suppose you pass excess CO2. That means what? You have passed CO2 and CaOH twice, all the CaOH twice got converted to CaCO3. No more CaOH twice is there. What will happen next? So now any more carbon dioxide I pour is not going to react to this because it's not there. So who does it react it? Now so carbon dioxide is going to go into a solution of CaCO3 and water. I'll explain again. If this is a test tube and I have CaOH twice over here, all my CaOH twice has now become CaCO3. You kept pouring carbon dioxide. Now you are passing excess, more than required. So now if there is any carbon dioxide coming, who is it going to react with? Is there any calcium hydroxide? No. So it is now going to react with this product itself. So if you pass excess CO2, so you have CaCO3 plus water already, you are passing more CO2 excess. So what happens to the reaction? You will find the product to be calcium hydrogen carbonate, which is soluble in water. So what happens? I have taken calcium hydroxide, colorless, I passed CO2 in it. Solution turned milky due to the formation of calcium carbonate. I continue to pass excess CO2. Now the solution is back to being colorless. It is a clear solution again. There is no more white PPT. How? There is no CO2. There is CO2. There is calcium, but there is no calcium carbonate. Calcium hydrogen carbonate forms and it is soluble. So if you continue to pass excess CO2, you may not observe the milky color. It will directly become this because it is soluble, and you will say it is not CO2 gas. It is still CO2 gas. You have to be careful while conducting this experiment. Don't pass excess CO2. So this is a test for carbon dioxide gas. Generally you need to know this. You need to know the test for hydrogen gas as well, the pop sound experiment. Few more reactions of the same type, carbonates and hydrogen carbonates reacting with acids. Sodium carbonate reacts with dilute sulfuric acid to give us what? Sodium sulfate, along with that CO2 and water. CO2 and water is fixed for everything. The only point here is how do I get the salt? Sodium sulfate again. Next, calcium reacts here with chlorine, so calcium chloride. Calcium reacts sulfate, calcium sulfate. Balancing, please do it on your own. It's pretty easy. Next experiment, how do acids react with bases? We'll be studying activity 2.6. This again we've already studied, very simple. Acids react with bases to give salt and water, also known as neutralization reaction. This is exactly that, but let's just understand the experiment. Take 2 ml of dilute NaOH solution in a test tube and add 2 drops of phenolphthalein solution to it. So what am I doing here? We have taken a test tube, and to this test tube we have NaOH solution. I have now added few drops or 2 drops of phenolphthalein in it. Phenolphthalein is an indicator that turns base into, when added to a basic solution, turns pink, and when added to an acidic solution it's colorless. So now I have added phenolphthalein in this. As soon as these drops fall here into the solution, what happens to the color of the solution? the color of the solution turns pink. I don't have pink color here, so I'm putting red. So the solution of the color of the solution turns pink. So now it is a pink color solution. So what is the color of the solution? Answer is pink. Now to this, add HCl to the above solution drop by drop. So slowly we are adding, drop by drop we are adding HCl to the solution. You will observe that the pink color is slowly fading away. Keep adding HCl. At one point you will see the solution is back to being colorless. So is there any color change for the reaction mixture? Yes. Which color? It's becoming colorless. It's fading away and then the solution becomes colorless. Why did the color of the phenolphthalein change after the addition of an acid? Because when the acid reacts to the base, it is a neutral substance formed. It is no longer base alone. Phenolphthalein turns pink only in the presence of base. It is now a neutral solution. Now add a few drops of NaOH to the above mixture. So now what happened? Acid came, it fell on the base. So now the solution became colorless. So the solution is colorless. To this, if what happens if I add NaOH again? If I add NaOH again, the solution will turn pink again. Does the pink color reappear? Yes, it does. Why do you think it happened? Because the solution is basic again. Solution was basic, it was pink. I added acid to it, it became colorless because it became a neutral substance. Now if I add back base to it, it's neutral, I'm adding base again, the solution again became basic. The phenolphthalein color will again show which color? Pink color. I hope this activity is clear. So now concluding what we just learnt over here, can I write? If an acid reacts with a base, I get salt plus water. This is also referred to as neutralization reaction. Right? Okay. So now according to our activity that we just learned, which acid did we take? Hydrochloric acid. Which is the base? NaOH. So water is H2O. What's the product formed here? H will go, OH will go to form water, Na and Cl. So sodium chloride. So now you seeing few more neutralization reactions. We have a few bases here reacting with acids. Let's see what are the products formed. Potassium hydroxide base reacts with nitric acid to form water. Along with that, potassium and nitrate, potassium nitrate. Magnesium hydroxide base and sulfuric acid, magnesium sulfate plus water. Ammonium hydroxide with nitric acid, ammonium nitrate, ammonium plus 1, nitrate minus 1, exchange basically no number. Okay. And water. This needs balancing, please try to balance it. So this sums up our neutralization reaction. The next topic we'll be studying regarding metal oxides and non-metal oxides. We have already understood until now, metal oxides are basic in nature usually, and non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Again, usually there are exceptions. There are few amphoteric and few neutral oxides there. What are they? We'll understand in detail in chapter 3, metals and non-metals. So metal oxides are usually basic, non-metallic oxides are usually acidic. Metal oxides are usually basic. So who will they react with? Acid. So metal oxides with acids. We're going to study the reaction between metal oxides and acid now. So if I take a metal oxide and I make it react with an acid, this is basic, this is an acid, it will give a salt and water. Which brings us to activity 2.7 in the textbook. In a beaker, take copper oxide. Copper oxide is which color? Do you remember in chapter 3 we studied that in a container you take copper which is brown, you pass oxygen gas on it, because of oxygen on heating, due to oxidizing, it becomes copper oxide, which is black in color. You pass hydrogen gas on that black. If you remember, I even drew it like this. Put copper, there's a black color formed here. Pass hydrogen gas, this black color will again turn brown, and this is again just brown copper. So copper oxide is which color? Black in color. So now we take copper oxide there, and we will add dilute hydrochloric acid to it. You will observe there is a solution formed, a salt solution formed. How does the salt solution come? Water and salt will give salt solution. So water is formed. Along with that, a bluish green salt solution is formed. Why? Due to the formation of copper chloride or cupric chloride. So due to the formation of cupric chloride, we observe a bluish green solution formed. Looking at a few more reactions between metal oxides and acids. When copper oxide, cupric oxide reacts with hydrogen sulfate, or what is that? Sulfuric acid, what do we observe? We observe water coming out as a product, and the other one is copper sulfate. Next, calcium oxide with nitric acid, calcium nitrate and water. Calcium nitrate, calcium plus 2, nitrate minus 1, so this gets 2, along with water. Sodium oxide with sulfuric acid, sodium sulfate and water. Sodium sulfate and water. How do non-metallic oxides react with bases? Why bases? Non-metallic oxides are usually acidic in nature, so they will tend to react with bases. So if you take a non-metallic oxide and you make it react with a base, non-metallic oxide acidic, this is basic. What will it form? Salt and water. So non-metals, carbon, sulfur are all non-metals with the oxides. So carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide are good non-metallic oxides. Carbon dioxide reacts with calcium hydroxide base to give us what? Which is the possible salt here? From here calcium will come, so from here the negative radical has to come, so that will be calcium carbonate, along with that water. Calcium sulfite, along with that water. Sodium carbonate, along with that water. These two form white PPT. Please write down. These are just the three reactions you need to know. Page number 22, question 1. Why should curd and sour substances not be kept in brass and copper vessels? Brass and copper vessels are metallic. Curd has lactic acid in it. It has an acid in it. Sour substances are also acidic. We learned at the beginning of the chapter, acids are sour in nature and bases are bitter. So when I say sour substances or curd, I am referring to the acidic nature of those substances. When a metal reacts with an acid, what is liberated? Hydrogen gas is liberated. So therefore, when curd and sour substances are kept in brass and copper vessels, hydrogen gas and some poisonous substances are formed. This is why we should not store curd and sour substances in brass or copper vessels. Question 2. Which gas is usually liberated when an acid reacts with a metal? We just saw when an acid reacts with metal, hydrogen gas is liberated. Illustrate with an example how will you test for the presence of this gas. So first illustrate with an example. You can explain the activity. How did we do that activity? Activity 2.3. We saw how we tested for the gas also using a pop sound. You saw we used the delivery tube through a soap solution. You have to write about that activity. Write the reaction of zinc granules and sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid as the example. Page 22, question 3. Metal compound A reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce an effervescence. So A is reacting with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce an effervescence. Effervescence does not mean hydrogen gas alone. It can be any gas. So, we will just write some gas. The gas evolved extinguishes a burning candle. Extinguishes means puts off. We studied 3 gases until now about learning during experiments: hydrogen gas, oxygen gas and carbon dioxide. Hydrogen gas burns with a pop sound, oxygen gas increases the burning, and carbon dioxide we learned the Milky Way test, but we also know that carbon dioxide does not support burning, it extinguishes burning. So I can say it is possible that the gas here is CO2. How did we get this? By this information. It extinguishes a candle. Write a balanced chemical equation for the reaction if one of the compounds formed is calcium chloride. So one of the compounds formed is calcium chloride, they have told. So now how do we do this? Which reaction until now did you study and understand that? Carbon dioxide gas coming out. If carbon dioxide gas is coming out, can I say the product has to be a carbonate or a hydrogen carbonate? Yes. There is calcium coming out. So their calcium has to come from A itself. So I can say A is calcium carbonate. When calcium carbonate reacts with HCl, it gives CaCl2 plus CO2 plus water. So this is our reaction. Our metal compound ASCaCO3. I hope you understood how we did this.